All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to walk through building a decentralized betting app, basically from scratch. And if you already come from the world of traditional databases, you're going to see how a lot of your skills translate over in some really interesting ways. So, you know how to model data. You can write complex queries, you build solid apps with things like SQL. But what happens when you have to build something where there's no central company in charge? How do you build a betting platform where people don't have to just blindly trust some operator with their money? Well, that's exactly the puzzle we're going to solve today. First things first, why even bother with the blockchain for this? What makes a betting app such a great use case? Turns out it's all about solving the really deep, fundamental problems that you run into with any system that has a single person or company in the middle. When you put them side by side, the difference is pretty stark. In the old world, you give your money to an operator and you just hope for the best. It's a total black box. But with a Dapp, a decentralized app, you shift that trust from a person or a company to the code itself. The rules of the game are out in the open, the smart contract holds the funds, not some CEO, and every single move is recorded on a public ledger for anyone to see. It's a completely different way of thinking about trust. Okay, so we're sold on the why. Now let's get into the how. And just like any other software project, this whole thing kicks off with two things: getting our development environment set up and figuring out how we're going to model our data. Now, we're not going to be spending real money while we're building this, of course. So the first thing we do is set up a private development chain. You can just think of this as your own personal little blockchain running on your laptop. It's a safe sandbox. You just install Geth, which is the official Ethereum client, set up a project folder, and run a little script to kick off your own test network. It's the perfect place to build, break things, and debug your code without any risk. So, how do we think about data? In the database world, you define a table with columns. Well, in Solidity, that's the main language for Ethereum contracts, we use something called a struct. And honestly, the analogy is perfect. A struct is just a way to define a schema, to group related bits of info together into one neat package, exactly like columns in a table. And here's a perfect example. This is our game struct. Just look at it. It looks almost exactly like defining the columns for a games table in a database. We've got a unique ID, the creator's wallet address, the names of the home and away teams, a timestamp for when betting closes, and a status. Every field has a clear data type just like you'd expect. This right here is the core building block for our entire app. All right, our data model is in place. Now we get to the fun part, building the actual logic. What does the smart contract need to be able to do? And maybe more importantly, how do we make absolutely sure that it's secure? When you boil it all down, our Dapp really just has four main jobs. These are the core functions. A user has to be able to create a new game. Other users have to be able to bid on that game. The creator needs a way to report the final score. And, of course, the winners have to be able to withdraw their money. That's it. This is the heart of the whole operation. So, how does the contract actually receive money? I mean, when someone places a bid, they've got to send Ether along with that action. In Solidity, you make a function able to receive money by marking it as payable. It's just one keyword. And when you do that, you automatically get access to two super important global variables: msg.sender, which is the wallet address of the person calling the function, and msg.value, which is how much Ether they sent. It's that simple. But the moment you start handling money in code, security has to be your number one priority. Remember, smart contracts, once they're deployed, they're permanent. You can't just patch a bug. And that bug could lead to a catastrophic failure. One of the most famous and dangerous types of vulnerabilities is called a reentrancy attack. It's a clever way an attacker can trick a contract into paying them out over and over again before it realizes what's happening. So how do we defend against this? Well, thankfully, there's a well-known, rock-solid pattern you have to follow. You can call it checks, effects, interactions. First, you do all your checks, read the user's balance, and figure out how much they should get. Then, and this is the most critical part, you apply the effects. You update your internal records. You set their balance to 0 in your contract storage. Only after their balance is zeroed out do you do the interaction, the part where you actually send the Ether. By doing it in this order, if an attacker tries to call back into the function, your contract will see their balance is already 0, and the attack just fizzles out. Okay, so we've got our logic, and we've made it secure. But what's the point if nobody can see what's going on, or if our front-end website can't even read the data? This brings us to the real payoff of using a blockchain: radical, undeniable transparency. I mean, this is the whole promise, right? We're building a system you don't have to just trust, you can actually verify. So how do we do that? How do we create a permanent, public, auditable record of everything that happens inside our contract? The answer is Solidity events. You can think of an event as a way for your smart contract to send out a broadcast. It's like a public announcement that gets written into the blockchain's logs. The contract can basically yell, "Hey everyone, this important thing just happened." And that log entry is permanent, public, and way cheaper than writing to the main contract storage. This makes events the perfect tool for building that verifiable history. And you can see here how this all comes together to build a complete, transparent story. Our contract emits an event for every single important action. When a game is created, boom, game created event. When a bid is placed, bid placed event. When a bet is matched, a game is scored, a withdrawal happens. It's all logged. This means anyone, at any time, can go back and reconstruct the entire history of the app, ensuring total transparency. So this gives our front end, the actual website, two main ways to get its data. If it needs to know the current state of something, like what are the open bids right now, it just calls a function directly on the smart contract. But if it needs to know the history of something, like show me all the games that have ever been created, it's way more efficient to just query those historical event logs. It's a clean separation that helps you build a fast and responsive Dapp. And that really brings us to the bigger picture. We've just gone through the architecture of a trustless betting app, but these core patterns we've talked about, code as law, user-controlled funds, a transparent and verifiable history, they aren't just for betting. You could apply these same principles to insurance, to supply chain management, to real estate, to voting systems, you name it. The real question is, what other industries are ready for this kind of change? And that's all for this one. If you found this useful, you know what to do. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives like this. Thanks for watching.